Everybody, video here for you today. I thought I would document one more site in ancient Peru. Then I'm going to move on to other parts of the world to talk about. I got Egypt to talk about. One more ancient America site that I'd like to do a video on. But today, I want to do a video on this place. Over the past, 10 days, I've shown you about 5 or 6 sites. They all have pretty unique stonework. Well, we're going to go down to a site today that has very unique stonework, and it's not like anything I've showed you. This is ancient Qollmay, and it's right down here. One thing this site has in common with other sites I have shown you recently is its high altitude. This is at about 11,275 feet. This is about a 25-minute drive from Puyo, which can be seen, I believe, right down here. Here is a look down at Puyo from the ancient site of Qollmay, so that'll give you some idea of the altitude here. Here is a look down on the site. I believe this place was investigated in about 1905 and then got overgrown again. And then only recently some of the stonework was uncovered under some underbrush up here on the granite faces. I'll show you that in a second. But only evidence of about 12 buildings, maybe a half a dozen other walls are still intact here. But the stonework, that is what really caught my eye here. Here's a look at some of the stunning scenery from ancient Qollmay. This is pretty much the whole site right here. You can see some walls under the ground covered up by time here. And then this on the left is what I showed you in that last pic. And what's very interesting about this place, there is huge stonework that creates an entrance into a natural cavern here. They think that cavern is symbolic, used for fertility ceremonies. I'll show you that in a second here, but that is a pretty stunning view. Now here is a close-up of what they call the Inca Terraces near that natural cavern. I see some pretty interesting things in here. Looks like some of this stone has just been kind of scooped out in certain areas here and almost here, but that's a pretty distant view, so I'm not really sure what I'm looking at there. But as we pan up, then the walls get megalithic. This doesn't look like the stonework I showed in yesterday's video that's similar to Machu Picchu and Cuzco. This looks like the stonework kind of at Sacsayhuaman, maybe not as large, but kind of fitted together like that. Then we have the natural cavern right here. Megalithic stonework building an entrance into here. I found this pretty unique as far as stonework in Peru. Now here's the entrance into that natural cavern. These stones around here are huge and not like anything I've shown you through the last 5 videos. Is there some depictions on this stonework? I just cannot tell. But this was fairly recently rediscovered because the vegetation was just growing over this stonework. They had a ceremony up here in 2019, so I'm thinking this was rediscovered fairly recently. Here's a link I will leave below. Peru, get to know the amazing 20-angled stone in Cuzco. That'll give you a little better look at the stonework around this natural cavern entrance. That is pretty interesting. I know Brian Forster's shown some caves where they had stone carvings inside the caves, and what did that all represent? It's all anybody's guess. Fertility rituals they associate this place with, just because the natural formations of the granite slabs up here, they say it looks like a birth canal. So that's how the so-called experts associated it with that. But this stonework here, that just reminds me a little bit of Sacsayhuaman, but a 21-angled stone. That is pretty cool. The stonework here is not as large as Sacsayhuaman. It says the huge 20-angled stone located on the facade of an Inca wall at Qollmay archaeological site in Cuzco's Chinchaypoyo district has amazed locals and occasional tourists. And here is a look at the setting where that stonework is. Is this a pretty unique site? Do we have other sites where they put the huge stonework like that right up against a facade of granite? I'm just not sure. It says, with 20 angles, the stone almost doubles the number of angles of the famed 12-angled stone located on Hutarimoyak Street, about a block away from Cuzco's main square. But there is a look at some megalithic stonework up about 11,275 feet. And that stone right there is huge. I'm not sure how many tons that would weigh, but I would say at least maybe 10 or 12. Now here's a close-up of the megaliths entering the cave. This one stone, many angles you can see here. 21, I guess. That is very impressive. So is this, all this stonework around here. But the mayor goes into how impressed people were when this was rediscovered. It says down here, neither us nor locals themselves had realized until now, due to vegetation covering the place, how impressive this place was. Here's a look inside this natural cavern with the stonework built up around it. I know this pic's a little blurry, but you notice here on the left what is a little ledge or, I don't know, altar, but this appears to be precisely sliced out here. Now here's another look inside of this natural cavern with the stonework built up around it. And then here is the area that's been carved away inside the cave or cavern. But with the sunlight here, I wondered if there was any archaeoastronomy built in here. This opening might be facing due east and facing the spring equinox sunrise. That is just a thought, but I could not get an exact sighting on this doorway. Here is one more look inside the cavern and the carving done in the stone found inside. Does this track the sun somehow, or I'm just not sure what that is all about? Please leave your comments below. Now here's another area at the site. We have the smaller stonework, then we have the huge megalithic blocks, strange angles here, built up against a granite face. What was the purpose of this? Well, if you're going to attach this site to the Inca, well, the Inca were probably here. I do see some smaller stonework in just a few areas, but maybe they were thinking this is the place of the gods, and that's the way they thought in Egypt or other places where people came way before them and built special places. Is this a place of the gods of the Inca? Is this very ancient? Well, this stonework is certainly unique. Not much written on this place, but I will leave this link below. It talks about Qollmay, the altitude first looked at in 1905 by Max Euler. Talks about the natural cavern here. It says this cavernous building is thought to be the most important one in the whole site. Adjacent to it is a rock formation reminiscent of a birth canal, speculated to be the site of fertility rituals. They do have one video attached, and this is one of the only videos on this place I could find. They had a rain ritual up here in 2019. I believe this is what that documents. You see the large stonework here, and then there's just large stones all around here, stuff carved in them, maybe, but I will leave this link below if you want to check it out. Here is one more look at the setting. These huge natural stones at the place, do they have things carved into them? Kind of appears that way. Here is the doorway in the background with that huge stonework around it. Is that a doorway of the gods? Well, that's what I wonder. And the gods being highly enlightened people that got there before the more modern cultures. But I just thought this was a very interesting place. Here is another look. Another look. Another look. Ancient Qollmay. I thought that was a good one to do today. Unique stonework. Seems to be pretty ancient. Leave your thoughts below. Hope you thought that was cool. And you all have a very nice day.